All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set to compete at Invicta FC 51, and that goes down on January the 18th. A very interesting bantamweight fight between Olga Rubin and Serena DeJesus, and happy to be welcoming Serena on the show for the first time. How's your day going so far there? Seems like a busy one.
Hi there. Well, my life is always busy, even when I'm not fight camp. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. I'm a head kids coach, and I'm just all over the place, and I help my friends and travel with them when they get fights. So, it's always busy, but I'm always happy to talk to people and talk about things. So thanks for having me on the show. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting fight. Now I understand why everybody hates us Southpaws. That's all I learned this camp is like, God damn it, I hate other Southpaws.
Yeah, and I mean, very interesting fight, which I definitely want to get into, but I also did want to talk about the last fight briefly there, because that seemed like a great performance in the career, the fight against Brittany Cloudy and everything like that, advancing to 5-2, and seemed like, at least from like my layman perspective, like a well-rounded performance. Like, what were your main thoughts on that last fight and your performance within it?
So, first and foremost, Brittany has a fucking head made of steel. I don't know how she didn't die, because I threw shots at her and dropped men with. So, I knew that Brittany was going to be very fast. So, Brittany is extremely athletic. And I don't think she gets enough props. Like, her record is extremely deceptive. She was a former Golden Gloves boxing champion. She made Olympic trials for long jump. That's pretty impressive in my opinion. So, she had the explosiveness and she had the speed. And so I recognized I was at a reach disadvantage while looking at her stats. So I'm like, okay, fuck. So I hate long people. I hate, well, specifically women in my division who are taller than me. Like, I'm already sitting at 5'8", so I'm already above the average height for women. So when women got to be taller than me, it's like, really, we had to do this today. So I realized I had to get into the distance, like getting close and start throwing strikes, because I couldn't keep her at range. If she was at range, she had the advantage. So I decided to come in and tie her up and just try and wear her down the clinch, elbow her, look for takedown. She was really good on her takedown defense. I couldn't find anything. So I decided that we were going to go bludgeon each other to death. And at one point, it looked like a Don Fried and Takayama reenactment with elbows. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, I hit her with a liver shot that had her kind of stumbling. I hit her with a knee in the face afterwards, and she just stayed up. So it was a fun fight. I realized I had to push the pace because I was really praying after I won that fight I could have fought for the title next. But then Olga came. So I'm a little irritated at Olga for that, for making me miss Christmas and missing my birthday next Tuesday. I can't have birthday cake, and it is her fault, and she's going to pay for that.
I was going to say, is the W going to be the belated birthday present? Is that what we're looking at?
Yes. I'm making this year start off right, because honestly, to be real, after my fight, like the rest of the year kind of went downhill, like slowly then surely. Then after the summer ended, like the fall was horrible. The winter was horrible, but I made it through. Well, we're still in winter, but it's a new year. So I want to make it go on the right foot. And you know what? Olga is a tough bitch. I don't underestimate her at all. But I also know I'm a tough bitch. I fight with mainly dudes. Like, in my gym, I'm fighting with mainly dudes, or I'm training with Taylor Gordado, which is cool that me and her, after we fought 3 years ago, can have like a Rocky and Apollo moment. I really appreciate her. And Elena Kolesnik, who is big beach. She's big Ukrainian beer. She's the Mumbai piece. So there is no woman in my division that will hit like Olena. And me and her try to go kill each other half the time. So I feel very confident in whatever happens in the fight. I know Olga will try to shoot. I'll try to body lock me. That's all she's going to do. And if she does, I will have a nice, delightful knee waiting to split her orbital open. Because the last girl who shot on me, that's exactly what the fuck I did. I split her entire orbital open. And she was leaking like she got attacked by Freddy Krueger. So she can try and show off her punches. That's great. I got a thick skull. My mom even says so. So I I'm not going to underestimate her, but I know I have the talents and have the tools to work with it. All I have to do is just go forward with faith and love, and that's it.
And I mean, you talked before about like wanting the title shot, and you did call for that after your last fight. Like, when did this Olga Rubin bout offer come your way? Like, when did it, I guess, become clear to you you wouldn't be, I guess, next in line for the title?
So I had two shots. I had two options. It was either fight the champion on 5 weeks' notice, which I don't necessarily like because I fought Tenet on short notice before for my Invicta debut, and it's just like, I should have had the title. I felt I deserved the title shot before, so I just wanted to go fight for the belt. And they were just, for whatever reason, there was no communication on my end of what was going on. So I just kind of sat with it. I was busy all summer because I went to Atlanta to quote Elena in PFL, and then I flew to London late August, and I hadn't heard anything because at that point, I was behooved. I was by my management team to go test out free agency before I re-signed with Invicta. I love Invicta. It's just they were always in Kansas City, and for me as a fighter, I view life like street fighting. You fight someone, you beat them, you go somewhere new. Like, I love traveling all over the country, all over the world, because I want to see as much as I can before I go. And we don't know when our time's going to run out. So try to find fights on the free agency. I had 4 girls turn me down, cried a little bit. And I was getting burned out. Prepping for fights, they fall through. Prepping for fights, they fall through. So then we're kind of at this burnout stage, and then I got the offer to fight either Tanisha Tenet on 5 weeks' notice or to fight Olga Rubin. And if you look at my record, I don't fight no bumps. I fight the good bitches because my legacy is everything. So I'm like, all right, Tanisha is supposed to fight Talia for the title last time I checked unless something happened. So let me go fight Olga. Let me test my mettle. I respect Olga. She a tough bitch. I'm a tough bitch. Unfortunately, someone's going to have to fucking die. It's not going to be me.
And I mean, someone that's right up in that mix too. Like, I mean, her last fight being a title bid for the Invicta bantamweight title and a former Bellator featherweight title challenger as well. And I know you said like the short notice title opportunity was on the table as well, but I would think that a win here would all but 100% guarantee that your next fight is for the title. Are you looking at it as a title eliminator, this one?
I am. I'm looking at it as a title eliminator, and then you know what? If I don't get a title belt, I'm hoping Mick Maynard will call me. I'm hoping that something nice will happen because, I mean, my number one lesson from last year is like, just because you're nice doesn't mean the world will be nice to you. But I can only hope. I can only pray that I get something out of my troubles. And I really hope to test myself against Olga. Like, I know it's a classic striker versus wrestler. Like, I've seen her striking. It's okay. But I know that's not her strong suit. Her strong suit is her grappling, which is everything I've been preparing for. So that's the deal. That's the thing. I'm hoping that I get this fight. I'm hoping after this fight, when I win, that I get the title shot. And if not, I'll just hope for something nice to come along. But we'll see. Life has been fairly unpredictable these last 3 years, safe to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that is fair. I think that's something that we can all take away from the last few years is there's certain things beyond our immediate control. But in talking about that Invicta FC bantamweight title, there is a title bout on this card as well with Tanisha Tenet defending against Talita Bernardo. And as much as you're, squarely focused on this next fight here and getting the ideal outcome, is there at least like a peripheral awareness of this bantamweight title fight? Like, are you going to be checking it out maybe, or is it even like slightly in the peripheral there?
Slightly in the peripheral, but the focus is on getting there first. I don't feel that I should be looking at the title yet until I go past Olga. Otherwise, it's just a distraction. It's like, but whoever wins that title belt, when I win this fight against Olga, I'm coming after their head. I'm going to keep that shit in the stands, Mortal Kombat style.
Yeah, it's been a great journey to follow along with. I mean, you're on a good run as of late. Like, I saw you're on the 4-fight winning streak, and stuff like that. And I love like what you do in terms of like being an ambassador and an inspiration for, you know, young like autistic martial artists, like being one of the first fighters to come out and, you know, be an ambassador for Fight for Autism and things of that nature. That seems to be hugely important to you. Can you talk a bit more about that and, you know, just how much it means to you? Because I think it's cool.
So, if you followed my story, like briefly, I was saying like I was undiagnosed autistic in the 90s, because in the 90s, all of us had ADHD. It was in the food, it was in the air, it was everywhere, right? Yeah. So after many years of being misdiagnosed, put on medicines I didn't need to treat various other mental ailments, and it unfortunately putting me in psychiatric wards, residential treatment facilities. I've lost cumulatively about 7 years of my life being in those systems. And it was through no fault of my own. My parents didn't know. They trusted doctors who went to school longer than them. And then when there was actually one therapist who actually knew what they were doing, who gave me the autism diagnosis when I was 13, everything made sense. Like the light, the noise, the stuff that I hear louder than everybody else, you know, my little tics, my little things I have to do in order to calm myself down. Like I grew up at first thinking I was defective. Like, I'm weak, everybody, and, you know, this is not how I'm supposed to be. And then it's like, oh, okay, I can control this as much as someone can control having epilepsy, for example. So, got a case manager who taught me emotions more than happy, angry, or sad. It's not like I didn't know them. It's just like, and like certain, you know, subtle facial cues, like, I wouldn't understand either. It's just like, 404, like, image not found, you know, I didn't know, so... But growing up, meeting my life goals, meeting my social skills, I was always an MMA fan growing up because giant nerd, watching Power Rangers, Sailor Moon, and like all the anime I could get my hands on before anime was cool. So I'm one of those anime hipsters, I guess, inadvertently. And then watching my first fight, which is Gary Goodrich versus Paul Herrera, I was like hooked. You know, it's like all my favorite things came to life. And watching that, I just love watching fights with my dad and stuff. So... went through athletics, which was nice. It helped me out. I was at one point in high school, a 180-pound power lifter for softball. I was the smallest woman actually on the team. So I'm like squatting 300 pounds and I'm like benching like 220. And the rest of the softball team looked like those that episode of Futurama with the Amazon woman going like death by snoo.
Yeah.
If I was the smallest bitch there at 180, like it was crazy. But after high school ended, you know, I didn't make it into college for softball, so I was kind of upset a little bit. But, you know, life is very interesting, you know? So I'm like, if I just go to college and I work, I will go nuts without an outlet. So I found a local gym when I still lived in Philadelphia, trained Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and my first grappling tournaments turned my first Muay Thai fights and traveling to Thailand, and then meeting up with my hero, who became my mentor and pretty much my big sister from another mister, Roxanne Modafferi. We were roommates and best training partners, and then, you know, last year she retired from the game, and now inadvertently I found myself in the same shoes as Roxy is. Roxy was guiding the big giant brute and how things are done, and in a way I'm that way for my friend Elena Kolesnik. And now I understand the bullshit that Roxy had to put up with on and off the mats with my big ass. So Roxy has imbued a lot of knowledge to me, so I'm very grateful to this day for her. And I really miss training with her in an MMA aspect, but I understand those days are behind her. She can't do it for her, you know, because she's worried about her brain, but she's still doing competitive jiu-jitsu and she's still grappling, so at least we have that together, you know? So, but for me with autists, I want to be able to inspire other autists and their families that they're not just defined to this one realm, because I've had past therapists say that I'd only be good for grunt labor, or, you know, I'd not go to college. I did so, but purely out of spite. So please don't do that. Student debt is stupid. Yeah. So I'm very fueled by spite. So there's that, and then I just kept doing. I found my realm. Like I could finally communicate to people and not feel all odd. And so it's not me going like, so do you like stuff? Instead, it's me like, hey, can I see that movie again? And then we start talking about that, and it branched off the one conversation into another, and then whatever. And then people from all walks of life in martial arts, which is what I love. And it's a set time, a set location, and set people. So I never have to feel out of place. You know, I know what's happening on Monday, what's happening on Tuesday, Wednesday, so it's a form of comfort for me. But, you know, not every autistic is going to be an athlete. But I also like to spell the rumors that autistics can't be athletes because, well, I had shit motor skills growing up. I tripped over my own damn 2 feet and I bumped my shin so much. Maybe that's why they're calcified to hell right now. But I went from going through occupational therapy and physical therapy from elementary to middle school to now doing the most complex movements that mankind can do, in my opinion. So I like to try and emphasize that you're not limited to what people think you can do. You know, and that you have your own niche, and if you follow it and you love it, it's a good thing. So, because we still have these stupid stereotypes out and about in public. And as you know, calling somebody autistic online has replaced the R word nowadays. So we've gotten further than we have in the last 10 years. We still have more work to do. And I really want to see more autistics in martial arts if possible. Even if they don't fight competitively like myself, it's a good place for them to make bonds. It's a good way for them to stay safe because, unfortunately, the average age of death of autistics is 38. I'm going to be 31 on Tuesday, for example, because if it's their parents, their caretakers, or other and unscrupulous people will take advantage of autistics and kill them. And if they don't do it, unfortunately, they off themselves, because they don't find their own place to belong, which is why, for me as an ambassador, I encourage them to find their place. I encourage them to at least try martial arts. I encourage them to find their own community. I encourage education in the autistic field. Not every autist is going to be like me. You meet one autistic, you literally meet one autistic, and it's different. And people forget, Anthony Hopkins, the actor, is autistic. You have other people, like they say Bill Gates is autistic. Bill Gates has not come out with it like Anthony Hopkins did, so I can't say. But there are many people who are brilliant and do their own things, succeed in their own world, who are autistic. And I want to foster that environment the best I can.
Yeah, I think that's so incredible. I mean, like you articulated well, there's still some regressive rhetoric out there that hopefully gets eliminated and more learning still to be done. But I mean, you talk about losing almost like around like 7 years of your life due to like missed diagnoses, and you were talking about the desire to want to like travel more, do more things in life because you never know when your day is going to come, in a sense. Like, in a way, has this experience like given a certain like lease on life, like a certain appreciation for like what each, I guess, new day represents, for maybe lack of a better way to say it?
Absolutely. Because the average person, let's be realistic, they wake up, they go to their 9-to-5 job, and they come home. Maybe sprinkle it with like some vacations and stuff like that, but will they ever know what their body is fully capable of? Will they know how much they can endure? Will they ever test themselves in the way that counts? The answer to that, probably 70% of the time, is a hard no. Once everybody leaves high school, they don't test themselves anymore. They don't apply to themselves, outside of their job or their realm. Like, I have a job. I'm a kids coach. I also like to walk dogs and pet sit because I love animals. Animals, if they don't like you or not. People, I never have that assurance. So, but I also compete at a level that I know when I'm an old lady and all decrepit, I know exactly, I can be at peace knowing what my body was able to do, what I was mentally be able to do as well. So that's why I enjoy fighting. And here's the thing, and it's something that people don't talk about. My brothers were professional ballet dancers. I know, right? Interesting. The boys were the ballet dancers, I'm the fighter. But they came into fighting a little later. One of them still does fighting, and after watching me since he was 8 years old competing. I know, time flies. But in ballet, you see the art, but you don't see the destruction on the dancer's body. Broken toes, messed up feet, bone injuries, spinal issues, etc., right? In fighting, you see the destruction on the fighter, but you don't see the arts that make it possible. And I think people don't realize that. And it's something that I fully embrace.
Yeah, it's curious you say that. I did notice that ballet background in doing my research on you, and it's curious because, like, in pro wrestling, I feel like oftentimes they're like, "Oh, it's not like ballet," and I'm kind of like, "Well, there's a lot of physical regression there too. Like, it's kind of hard on the body."
Oh, it is. I remember because I never dissed ballet. It's just I've always been a tomboy. I was always the adventurous, go hiking and go do things. Like, don't get me wrong, I love dressing up. I love looking good, but because I train so much, I teach so much, I don't get that many opportunities, and I don't go out much. I tried dating in the fall. That was horrible. This Las Vegas is horrible for the dating scene. Yeah. So I'm just like I'm kind of over it. So but it's just like I saw my brother on the bar, and he is covered in sweat, and there's a puddle of sweat around him. And that was that hallelujah moment, seeing from the balancing they do, the performances they do. I'm already looking at going, yep, I fall straight on my ass trying to do this. So I gained a newfound respect for ballet. And the best thing is my brothers who did do ballet and the one who still fights, his kicks are fantastic. So fantastic, even though he's an amateur and wearing shin pads, his opponent had to be physically carried out of the ring as he was unable to walk because ballet people, they know how to use their hips and their legs to swing and make rotation, which in American Muay Thai, we don't see enough of. Like, I'm grateful that through Marvin Eastman, I get the traditional real Thai, Muay Thai, knowing how to kick properly, knowing how to move my body. And I fully credit Marvin Eastman to why I have the win streak I have today. So it's through his tutelage, his love, his experience and guidance that I am the martial artist I am today.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember the Beast Man. He was a great figure back in the day and stuff like that, so a great person to learn from.
It's like the pit bull picked up the little kitty cat and taught it how to fight. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, but I also like, too, you talked about the dynamics with Roxanne Modafferi, which I think is cool, but, like, in mentioning the work with Taylor Guardado recently, and you fought her in that Phoenix Rising tournament in, like, 2020 and stuff like that, like, that's really cool, like, the competitive dynamics, but then you guys are, like, training compatriots thereafter. Like, there must be a certain, camaraderie that unifies you, like, having shared that time in the cage together.
Yeah. Let me get one thing out the way. I always respect everybody I fight, but I will trash talk a bit. And with Taylor Guardado, I was trash talking after the fight, not to be rude to her, but I was trying to get that money. It was 2020. We were all fucking broke, and a lot of the fighters all wanted to fucking fight. She's a good fighter. She's a great wrestler, and she has grown leaps and bounds since we fought. And I'm really happy that we're able to train together. She's been kind to me, even though I was the one stepping in her gym after things at my old gym fell apart, like against my will. So I'm really grateful for her helping me with my wrestling. I'm really grateful for her knowledge and overall just working with me. At first it was weird because when I came to Extreme Couture, her bestie was fighting my bestie. Casey O'Neill was fighting Roxy. And I knew there was some kind of weirdness about it all because everybody knows me and Roxy's friendship dynamic. But the thing is this: if my name's not on the contract, it's none of my fucking business. Did that hurt like a bitch to not be able to go there and just remain neutral? Oh, 100%. But again, I have a reputation to uphold, and I get that people are not used to people in the fight business not being scumbags, but I guess I'm the exception and not the norm. Like, in my fight with Brittany Cloudy, I was running my fucking mouth to her. But I also made a point clear that no one was to talk shit about her. If I saw fans talking shit about her after that fight, I would kick them off. I don't tolerate it. It's like, unless you are going in that cage and doing something, and even then, just don't talk shit about them. That's my job for the 15 minutes. And afterwards, I'll buy her pizza and stuff. Like, that last fight, I was in the same locker room as Courtney King, who I thought was an amateur. I fucked up her ribs. She made me not be able to feel my face on my left side for about 2 weeks because the nerves are irritated. And we're just shooting the shit backstage. Like, oh yeah, you did some good shit. Like, great fighter. I lost and I didn't care. I talked shit to her in the fight afterwards. Yeah, we're cool. That's just how I operate.
Yeah, it's almost like struck me as like a catharsis thing or even like a strategy minded thing. Like you said, it's done in like the vacuum of the fight. Like maybe try to bait the person into getting into like a less than ideal spot so you can implement a certain technique. But yeah, after the fight, it's like tossed out the window.
Yeah, yes and no, because there's two people that exist. Outside of the cage is the martial artists. They do the right thing. They smile. They're polite. They help people because that's what people should be doing. You see someone in trouble or who needs help, you help them. Then there is the fighter. The fighter exists because after I got eye poked the fuck by Evelyn Martins, I recognized these girls will not pay me the same respect I will pay them. So, to protect myself, I have to be that asshole. I'm not going to foul people, but I'm going to be that angry asshole on their ass. That's it. So that's how it boils down to. For those 15 minutes in that cage, you are dealing with the most angry motherfucker out there because the same way I'm viewing that person in the cage is the same view I'd be giving, say, if someone was trying to carjack me. Because in a carjacking, you're like, hold on, man, let me put on my mouthpiece. And no, you gotta fucking fight them. And best believe me, if I ever have a free pass to beat somebody up on the streets because they tried to assault me, or believe me, I'll be talking bad shit there too. So the only thing that stops me is there's rules. I can't stop them in the head. I can't do any of that. So I'll keep talking shit, but just follow the rules. In a real life situation, all that goes out the window. I'll be even more delighted. So two people exist in different realms, and that's how it is. And I credit my mental coach, Caleb Rogers, the mental sensei, for helping foster that growth.
Yeah, I love the depth of insight, and I really appreciate you getting into all of that with me on the show today. And yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. Hopefully the first of many appearances, but I want to be mindful of the rest of your schedule too, Serena. So to that point, is there maybe anything you might want to add as like a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping things up here?
So my parting thoughts are, I can't wait to put on a show for all of you. I'm excited to throw hands. I'm excited to throw bows, kicks, knees, all the above, and show that wrestlers ain't shit. Because wrestling's great, except when you try to do it too much. Then it becomes boring. And I believe people paid money to see blood, to see a fight. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to showcase what I got. And I really want to thank all my sponsors that have jumped up. So there's Crypto Mentor 99, who is this nice older gentleman who on Twitter reached out to me and decided to use his platform to help me out. So I'm very grateful to him because he has the same mindset as me. If you see yourself in a position where you can do good, you do good. Not for any reward, but because it's the right thing to do. So I'm grateful to him. I'm grateful to my management team, Sucker Punch Entertainment, specifically my manager, Chris Creech. She's been getting things together. Like, I have a new sponsor, the Chicken Pound. So I now have a wonderful chicken that comes to my front door all the time. It's been helping with my meal prep. It's been great because I'm always around. It's hard for me to get a nutritionally dense meal ready when I'm already like famished and starving. But thanks to them, because it's fully cooked when it arrives, it's great. I just pop it in my air fryer and it's good to go and I enjoy life. And I want to thank my newest sponsor, RT Motorsports here in Las Vegas, for also sponsoring me and coming through. So I can't wait to make all my friends and family and my sponsors proud. I can't wait to put on a show for all my fans who, a lot of them have been like my day ones, cheering for me from everywhere. I have a lot of fans in Australia, which I don't know why I have an abnormally large fan base, but Australia, I love you and your people. You're great. And I want to thank all my other sponsors, like Eric McGracken of CombatSportsLaw.com, My Consumer IT Houston, St. Michael's Elite Medical Center, also in Houston. I want to thank, the Healing Panda CBD store here in Las Vegas, and many more. There's a lot of people who come together to help keep my dream going forward. And without these sponsors, it's hard to keep the dream afloat, A lot of fighters have part-time jobs to keep it afloat, and it's hard even then. And my sponsorship window actually closes this Saturday, guys. So even if you're just an individual who wants to help out and they just want to have their name on my banner, hit a girl up. I'm happy for all of that. And I want you guys to be a part of my journey as well. So other than that, thank you for having me on today.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming on. It was great getting to talk, and yeah, everybody that wants to be sponsoring you rather should definitely take advantage of that window. You got a good win streak here, and like we're talking about, looks like a bantamweight title eliminator for Invicta and everything like that. So yeah. But yeah, thanks so much for the time, Serena, and just really looking forward to checking out this fight. But until then, you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You too, Dylan.